Fear gripped the entire community because of the Clovey Hitch killer going after women. Before Tyler, the eldest son, was born, the first crime occurred 10 years ago. The ongoing killings then abruptly came to a halt. Tyler receives a text message from his church mate Amy. That evening, Tyler secretly takes the key to his father's truck. He leaves to pick up Amy. They are in a large parking lot. What follows is steamy and romantic, as Amy confesses her feelings for Tyler. Amy's mood inside the car changes abruptly when she notices a picture of a woman on the side of her seat. Tyler is taken aback and states that the photo isn't his. But Amy doesn't believe him, so she tells Tyler to just drive her home. Tyler doesn't argue. Tyler is staring at Amy while reminiscing about the murdered. Amy walks away and Tyler wonders why Amy is spreading rumors about him being a pervert. Amy said she only told one person about the photo and it spread like wildfire. Tyler tells her that it wasn't his photograph and wants Amy to tell the truth, but Amy just leaves. Tyler thinks the photo belongs to Don, so he waits for his family to leave the house. He finds a box filled with photographs of naked women and sees Nora, one of Clovey Hitch's female victims. Unfortunately, his parents come home interrupting Tyler's investigation. Tyler is unable to sleep because he can't stop thinking about Nora, so he looks her up on the internet. Tyler's mom wonders why Tyler is up so late and demands him to go to bed. The next morning, his father confronts him about Tyler stealing the truck. He doesn't want Tyler to end up like his uncle Rudy and to just be careful next time. His parents have heard about the pervert rumors about Tyler, so they wonder if Tyler was looking up the same things on the internet last night. Tyler denies all the rumors and denies looking up anything naughty last night. Tyler goes to see his friend Billy, who is a car cleaner. He tells Billy that the photograph wasn't his, and because of it, he discovered something even more shocking. He needs to talk to Billy about it, but Billy wants no part of it because he thinks it's a scene. Tyler goes to see Cassie and asks her if she knows about the rumors about him. Cassie hasn't heard anything. Tyler mentions that he found something bad and needs Cassie's help since she's well versed in things of this nature. Tyler says he's interested in the Clovey Hitch killer, and Cassie wonders why he's all of a sudden interested in this. Tyler says he just wants to help the victims' families as best as he can. They agree to meet at 3 p.m. at Barbara's. She promises to help Tyler. At Barbara's, Tyler goes to see Cassie. Barbara used to work for the cops, Cassie explains. She made a copy of each file and wrote them all down in a book. Cassie begins telling everyone she knew about Clovey Hitch. She first displays a photograph of the 8th victim, Erica Lytle. Erica was a 5th grade teacher, and Clovey Hitch knew when she was alone, so he would come in, tie her up, and take a lot of photos of her wearing only her underwear, and from various angles before killing her. There isn't much evidence of Clovey Hitch left, not even fingerprints or blood traces, and no signs of intercourse. Only a strand of rope. Tyler was shown a photo of a necklace Cassie discovered outside the church. The 4th victim, Sasha Peterson, owned it. Cassie discovered that Sasha had never visited that church. She suspects the Clovey Hitch is a member of the church. Cassie employs the FBI playbook. In order to apprehend the suspect, they must exploit his vulnerability. Because the suspect is insane, Cassie knew he couldn't stop what he was doing. She is aware that serial killers' methods are inextricably linked to their psychology, much like a fingerprint. Everything about the entry points, the type of knots he would use to tie the victims, and the suspect leaving the Clovey Hitch knot in the houses of all his victims was all the same. His signature. The suspect was a meticulous man, and everything he did was planned, and he taunts the cops by using the victims as trophies. Cassie will use this to attach Clovey Hitch to new cases. Cassie suspects that he had not yet stopped, and that he couldn't afford to stop killing. After having coffee, Tyler goes straight to Cassie's the next morning. They read through Clovey Hitch-related newspaper articles. Tyler had no idea his father had followed him and seen the two of them, while Tyler was driving home and Cassie was driving away in the opposite direction. So, when he arrived at their house, his father confronted him about what he had seen earlier when he followed Tyler. He inquired about the identity of the girl he had been with earlier. Tyler was perplexed as to how his father found out. Tyler explains that they were only studying together. Don laughs, saying Tyler's mother needs to meet Cassie. Don requests that Tyler invite Cassie to their house. Tyler is a bit hesitant, but eventually agrees. At Tyler's house, they are all eating quietly. Tyler's mother inquires about Cassie's religious beliefs. Cassie replies that she is an atheist and not religious. She claims that her father drank every Sunday and that her mother abandoned her as a child. She is, however, thinking about Wicca. Don mentions that she's the first girl Tyler introduced them to. They all laugh. Tyler apologizes to Cassie on the way home for what had occurred during their conversation at the house. Cassie asks Tyler if he thinks his father is the Clovey Hitch killer. He explains it's because of the photos he discovered among his father's belongings. Tyler describes going to his father's shed and discovering a lot of stuff. What stayed in his mind was a photo of Nora Devlin with the words "Lucky's favorite" written on it. Cassie, on the other hand, insists that Don couldn't be the Clovey Hitch based solely on the photos. So, she tells Tyler to take her home and jokingly asks Tyler if he was planning on making out. Later, Cassie shows up outside Tyler's window. Cassie couldn't sleep because the name Lucky hadn't left her mind after hearing it from Tyler earlier. Cassie explains that when she went to Barbara, she told her everything, which upset Barbara, but she discovered something. The fifth victim had a letter found in her mailbox a week before she was murdered. What's more suspicious is what's written in it matches the note Tyler discovered on Nora's photo. They go to Don's shed to look for the box, but it isn't there anymore. They wonder if Don suspects something. Cassie digs under the floor and finds a blueprint. She snaps a photo of it and wonders if it's the same handwriting as Don's, but Tyler isn't sure. Cassie tells Tyler to go to Barbara's early tomorrow. Later, Tyler enters the crawl space beneath their house. Once inside, he smells a foul odor. He turns on the light and went straight to work looking for the items that had been neatly placed in the boxes. He's terrified after seeing driver's licenses and photos of naked women tied up. Tyler didn't get much sleep that night, so his father wakes him up and tells him they are going camping in the woods. Tyler doesn't feel good, but his father makes him go. Once they are in the woods, Don cleans his rifle. He asks Tyler if he told anyone about what he saw in the shed and crawl space. Don tells Tyler what he did was extremely disrespectful because it was his private space that no one was allowed to enter. Tyler feels ashamed. But then Don says the boxes he saw was his Uncle Rudy's and not Don's. This made Tyler confused. Don admits that he has known about his brother Rudy since they were children. When Don found the items, he told Rudy to turn himself in. But supposedly he tried to, and now Uncle Rudy is confined to a wheelchair. Tyler wondered why Don still kept the items then, and Don said it's because he wanted to respect the victims' families. He planned on telling them the truth of what happened, but then Tyler's younger sister was just born. Don decided to put the family first and didn't want Tyler or his sister to suffer. Tyler is confused because everything points to Don. And Don admits he shouldn't have protected his brother Rudy. Tyler then says they should bring the evidence to the authorities or burn it. When they arrive home, Don decides to burn everything. Tyler leaves for leadership camp, and he says goodbye to his family. Cindy and Susie also leave for vacation, leaving Don all alone. He goes to the grocery store where he meets a woman, so he decides to follow her all the way to her house. Don goes home and puts on music and dances, then photographs himself while wearing a mask and a red dress. The doorbell rings, so he changes to see who is outside. It's Cassie, so he lets her in. Cassie is looking for Tyler, but Don tells her he's at leadership camp. Cassie wonders what the camera is for. Cassie's phone rings and she pretends to speak to her father. Earlier that day, Don visits the woman he had followed. He goes to the side of the house where he plans his entry and leaves his signature note. Then he gathers his belongings. He goes back to the woman's house, who is now fast asleep on the sofa. He goes inside the house and stands in front of the woman wearing a bonnet. He points a gun at her and asks for her car keys. He takes her purse and takes pictures of her. He threatens her, saying if she tells the police, then he'll have his friends find and kill her. The woman trembles. He says he has to bind her, but she becomes scared and yells. Don points the gun at her and says he has tons of bullets and is willing to use them all on her head. In fear, the woman stays quiet and obeys Don's commands. They go to a room and she ties herself up. But Don isn't happy with it, so he ties her up again. Don puts a cloth over her mouth, then puts a plastic bag over her head. Then, Don is surprised to see Tyler, who just arrived on time to help save the woman. In the previous scene, Tyler was supposed to leave for leadership camp. But before he left, Cassie left a letter on his window to meet up with her. They both agree to follow Don since Don thinks he would have the house all to himself while his family is away. They met at Nora Devlin's old house, where Cassie recounts how Clovey Hitch broke into the house from the basement, tied her up, and murdered her. Cassie finally admits that her own mother was killed by Clovey Hitch. She remembers all the details vividly. The two saw Don at the grocery store while he was stalking the woman. Tyler and Cassie had planned for Cassie to go inside and look for Tyler while Tyler is in another room with a car tracker installed on his father's cell phone. They peer inside and confirm that it was the residence of the woman Don had followed from the market. They also notice Don's rope, which he had left near the basement door from which he intended to enter. They returned home and examined the tracker, but it was not moving. So they decided to go to Tyler's house first, where they discovered Don's phone. Tyler and Cassie dash to the house of the woman, so there's Tyler, rifle aimed at his father, inquiring about the woman who's having trouble breathing. Don is in complete shock now that he knows Tyler was following him all along. Don tries to use reverse psychology on Tyler to get the rifle. Tyler asks Cassie to help the woman and remove the plastic bag from her head. Cassie then stands up and runs to get the gun on the shelf behind Don, but Don grabs her and slams her against the wall. Don tries to convince Tyler that Cassie is deceiving him, so then Tyler hands over the rifle. Don then pulls the trigger, saying he's disappointed in Tyler because there isn't any ammunition. Tyler is angry at his father and the two wrestle, but Don is stronger and gets the upper hand. Tyler gasps for air, but thankfully Cassie regains consciousness and strikes Don twice on the head with a lamp. Don passes out on the floor. Cassie is about to call the cops, but Tyler says he has a better idea. Don is taken to the forest to die there, and they make Don appear to be missing.
Subscribe for more videos like this. Turn on notifications and leave a like. It really helps the channel.